Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever felt the weight of the world pressing down on you? Have you ever stood at the edge of impossibility, staring into the void, wondering if you have the strength to move forward? Today, I want to remind you of a truth so profound, yet so simple. You are stronger than you think, and your mind holds the power to overcome anything. Ladies and gentlemen, it is easy to underestimate the power that lies within you. So often we measure our strength by the ease with which life flows, by the absence of struggle, and by how little we have to fight to get through our days. But true strength, the kind that shapes destinies and changes the course of lives, is revealed not in comfort but in challenge. It is revealed when life pushes you to the edge, when circumstances seem impossible, when the obstacles towering before you make you doubt yourself, and yet you still take a step forward. That is when you discover that your inner reservoir of courage, resilience, and creativity is far deeper than you ever imagined. Many people go through life thinking they are fragile, thinking they will break under pressure, thinking they are not capable of enduring hardship. But the truth is, every human being possesses an innate power that, once tapped, allows them to rise above any trial. You have survived every difficulty up to this very moment, and that in itself is evidence of your strength. Every setback you have endured, every fear you have faced, and every moment you thought you could not continue, yet you did, has built within you a wellspring of power that cannot be measured by ordinary standards. Often, people wait for external validation, for recognition, or for conditions to be perfect before they realize their own strength. But strength is not something that is given, it is discovered. It is revealed in the small, quiet choices we make each day to persevere, to keep moving forward, and to maintain hope when everything seems against us. Strength is not loud or boastful, it is steady, persistent, and unwavering. It is the inner voice that whispers, "I can endure this. I will find a way. I am more than my fears." When you embrace this truth and consciously acknowledge that you are stronger than you think, you begin to act differently. You take on challenges with courage rather than hesitation. You approach problems with creativity rather than despair. And you move through life with a confidence that comes from knowing that whatever comes your way, you have the power to meet it. Strength is not about perfection or never falling. It is about rising each time you stumble and trusting that you have the resilience, wisdom, and determination to keep going. Ladies and gentlemen, life is not designed to be easy, and the challenges you face are not accidents or punishments. They are essential elements of the journey that shape who you are and who you are becoming. Every obstacle that appears in your path carries a lesson, an opportunity, and a hidden gift that can only be discovered through perseverance and reflection. When we encounter difficulty, it is natural to feel frustrated, discouraged, or even defeated. Yet, if we look more deeply, we can see that these obstacles are not meant to stop us. They are meant to awaken us. They are the universe's way of asking, how much do you truly want this? How strong are you willing to be? Life will never hand you success on a silver platter without requiring effort, growth, or sacrifice, because the value of achievement is measured by the hurdles you overcome to reach it. The very presence of challenges signals that something important is within your reach, something worth fighting for, something that will stretch you beyond your comfort zone and reveal strengths you never knew existed. When you embrace obstacles as part of the journey rather than signs of failure, you begin to approach life with a new mindset, one of curiosity, courage, and possibility. You begin to see that every setback is a setup for a greater comeback. Every delay is an invitation to deepen your patience and resilience, and every difficulty is a teacher showing you the way forward. It is in the struggle, in the process of navigating adversity, that character is built, wisdom is gained, and the true essence of your spirit emerges. No one grows stronger by avoiding challenges, and no one discovers their full potential by staying in the safety of the familiar. Obstacles are not detours or interruptions. They are integral milestones on the path of growth. They remind you that life is a journey of learning, adapting, and evolving. The more you encounter and overcome, the more equipped you become to handle future challenges with grace, confidence, and insight. Instead of seeing problems as barriers, view them as the stepping stones that guide you to higher levels of understanding, resilience, and achievement. Each challenge carries with it the power to transform your perspective, ignite your determination, and strengthen your belief in what you are capable of achieving. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most powerful truths in life is that your thoughts are not just fleeting ideas in your mind, they are the architects of your reality. Every belief, every judgment, and every mental picture you hold quietly, but persistently influences the world around you. Too often, we underestimate the immense power of the mind, allowing negative thinking, doubt, or fear to dominate our perception and dictate our actions. But what you think about consistently begins to manifest in your life, not through magic, but through the energy, attention, and actions your mind generates. If you dwell on limitations, scarcity, or failure, you naturally attract experiences and circumstances that reflect those same patterns. Conversely, if you cultivate thoughts of possibility, abundance, and strength, you begin to notice opportunities, solutions, and resources that were always there, waiting for your recognition. It is not that life is biased toward you or against you. Life simply mirrors the patterns you project. The mind is the lens through which you interpret every event, and by consciously directing your thoughts, you can transform your experience. Imagine for a moment the effect of believing wholeheartedly that you are capable of achieving your dreams. You begin to take actions aligned with that belief. You approach challenges with creativity rather than despair. You persist when others might quit. The possibilities expand because your focus and energy are aligned with outcomes that serve your growth and purpose. On the other hand, a mind consumed with worry, fear, or self-limitation becomes a prison, confining you to experiences that reinforce your doubts. The practice of consciously shaping your thoughts is not about denying reality or pretending that obstacles do not exist. It is about choosing the mental narrative that empowers you rather than disempowers you. Each thought you nurture is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. If you water it with attention, belief, and action, it grows into tangible results. If you neglect it, or allow it to be choked by negativity, it withers and produces nothing of value. Learning to master your thoughts is learning to master your life. The energy you put into your thinking shapes the quality of your actions, your relationships, and the trajectory of your personal and professional journey. Ladies and gentlemen, it is all too common for people to look at the difficulties in their lives and feel as though they have been singled out for misfortune or punishment, yet nothing could be further from the truth. Every challenge you encounter, no matter how daunting or unexpected, is not a penalty but an invitation, a call from the universe to awaken, grow, and step into the fullness of your potential. Life is constantly presenting us with circumstances that test our strength, patience, and resilience. But these experiences are not designed to break us. They are designed to teach us, to stretch us, and to guide us toward a higher understanding of ourselves. When you begin to see challenges in this way, your entire perspective changes. Instead of resisting difficulties or feeling victimized, you start to embrace them as opportunities for transformation. Every obstacle contains within it the seed of growth. Every moment of struggle holds a lesson that, once learned, strengthens your character and expands your capacity to live fully and intentionally. Challenges are not arbitrary. They are carefully aligned with your personal journey, appearing precisely when you are ready to learn the next important lesson. The way you respond to these invitations determines the trajectory of your life. When faced with adversity, you can choose to shrink, to feel helpless, or to assign blame, but you can also choose to see the challenge as a teacher, a guide pointing you toward greater self-awareness and inner strength. Those who succeed are not people who have avoided hardship. They are people who have embraced it, learned from it, and allowed it to elevate them to new levels of understanding and accomplishment. Every time you face a trial and choose to respond with courage, patience, and faith, you are accepting the invitation that life has placed before you. You are saying yes to your own growth, yes to your own potential, and yes to the unfolding of a life that is meaningful and abundant. The difficulties you encounter are not detours or mistakes. They are carefully placed opportunities that, when approached with the right mindset, can lead to extraordinary breakthroughs and revelations. They are reminders that life is not about avoiding struggle, but about rising to meet it, learning from it, and letting it shape you into the person you are truly capable of becoming. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most powerful forces in life is persistence, the unwavering commitment to continue moving forward, no matter how many times you face setbacks, disappointments, or obstacles. Life is rarely a straight path, and the journey toward your dreams is often filled with moments that test your resolve. Yet, it is precisely in these moments that persistence reveals its transformative power. Persistence is not simply repeating actions blindly. It is the conscious choice to continue striving, learning, and adapting, even when the outcome is uncertain. Every success story, every extraordinary achievement, every life-changing breakthrough has been built on a foundation of persistence. Those who succeed are not always the most talented, the luckiest, or the most favored. They are the ones who refuse to give up, who keep taking steps forward, even when the path is difficult, and even when the world seems to be working against them. Persistence is the bridge between your goals and their realization. It allows you to navigate failure not as an endpoint, but as a lesson, a guidepost, and a stepping stone toward your ultimate objective. When you persist, you build resilience, develop problem-solving skills, and cultivate a mindset that is prepared to face any challenge. Each time you rise after a setback, your confidence grows, your wisdom deepens, and your determination becomes stronger. It is persistence that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results, turning dreams into reality over time. Many people give up just before the break. They have been seeking because they underestimate the importance of consistent, sustained effort. They do not realize that persistence compounds, that each small action, repeated with dedication, creates momentum that eventually overcomes even the greatest odds. Persistence is also a reflection of faith in yourself, in your vision, and in the universe. It is a demonstration that you are willing to honor your purpose and refuse to let temporary difficulties dictate your long-term outcomes. When you embrace persistence as a core principle, you begin to see obstacles not as stop signs, but as challenges to rise above. You begin to trust in the process, to value effort over immediate reward, and to recognize that the journey itself shapes you into the person capable of achieving your dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, it is one of the most liberating truths you can ever embrace. You are not defined by what happens to you, by the situations you face, or by the limitations others place upon you. You are defined by the choices you make in response to those circumstances. Life will inevitably present you with difficulties, setbacks, and moments of uncertainty, but how you respond to them is what shapes your character, your destiny, and your sense of purpose. Circumstances are temporary. They are merely the backdrop against which your life unfolds. They may challenge you, frustrate you, or even frighten you, but they do not determine who you are or what you can achieve. What matters most is the conscious decisions you make in each moment. Choosing courage over fear, action over inaction, and faith over doubt is what transforms ordinary individuals into extraordinary ones. Every choice, no matter how small, carries the potential to redirect the course of your life. When faced with adversity, some people fall into the trap of blaming external conditions, believing that their potential is limited by their environment, their upbringing, or the obstacles before them. But this is a false perception. True power lies in recognizing that you always have the ability to choose your response. In every situation, you have a voice inside you that says, "I can rise above this." And it is that voice, that choice, that shapes your reality. By consciously making choices that align with your values, your goals, and your highest vision for yourself, you reclaim control over your life. You move from being a passive observer to an active creator. Life becomes less about luck, fate, or circumstance, and more about intention, commitment, and personal responsibility. Even in situations that feel overwhelming, the small choices you make, how you think, how you act, how you persevere, compound over time to create profound transformation. Your circumstances may challenge you, but they cannot define you unless you allow them to. Each decision to rise, to act with integrity, to push forward despite uncertainty, reinforces your identity as someone capable, resilient, and empowered. Understanding that choices, not circumstances, define you, frees you from the limitations of blame, fear, and self-doubt, and opens the door to a life driven by purpose, courage, and intentionality. Ladies and gentlemen, too often we are paralyzed by the enormity of our dreams, by the vastness of our goals, or by the challenges that lie ahead. We look at the distance between where we are and where we want to be and convince ourselves that the journey is too difficult, that the steps required are too many, or that success is unattainable. Yet the truth is, every great achievement, every extraordinary life, begins with a single small step taken with intention. It is not the size of the action that matters most, but the clarity of your purpose and the commitment behind it. Small, deliberate steps, when aligned with your vision, build momentum, shape habits, and eventually create results far greater than you ever imagined. The universe responds not to hurried, scattered effort, but to focused, intentional action. Each small action sends a ripple of energy into your life, attracting opportunities, insights, and connections that would otherwise remain unseen. Many people wait for the perfect moment to start, believing that circumstances must be ideal or that they must feel fully prepared before taking action. But there is no perfect moment, there is only now, and the choice to act intentionally, no matter how modest the step. By starting small, you remove the burden of overwhelm, you cultivate confidence, and you create a foundation upon which larger actions can grow. Intentionality is the key. It is the awareness and mindfulness behind every action. To act intentionally is to move with purpose, to align your steps with your values and goals, and to focus your energy on what truly matters. It is not about doing more, but about doing what counts. When you begin with small, intentional actions, you begin to shift your mindset from hesitation to empowerment. Each completed step reinforces your belief in your own capability, builds resilience, and deepens your understanding of the process required to achieve your dreams. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but it is the quality, consistency, and awareness of that step that determine the magnitude of your progress. By committing to start small and act intentionally, you take control of your life. You transform ambition into tangible results, and you set in motion the momentum that carries you steadily toward your highest vision. The power to create change is always within your grasp, and it is expressed through the choices you make each day. no matter how small, when guided by clear intention, ladies and gentlemen. There is an invisible, yet profoundly real force in the universe that is constantly working in our favor, guiding, supporting, and aligning us with opportunities that we often cannot yet see. This force is not something distant or separate from you. It is the energy of life itself, responding to the vibration of your thoughts, beliefs, and intentions. When you believe in the power of the universe, you begin to understand that you are never truly alone, that every challenge, every delay, and every obstacle is part of a larger design meant to steer you toward growth and fulfillment. To trust in this power is to cultivate faith that life is unfolding in your favor, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. It is to recognize that what may appear as coincidence, luck, or chance is actually the universe responding to your alignment with your highest purpose. Many people attempt to navigate life relying solely on their own effort, willpower, or logic. But when you connect with the power of the universe, you tap into a source far greater than yourself. A source that can open doors, create opportunities, and inspire solutions that you could not generate alone. Believing in this power does not mean you relinquish responsibility for your actions. It means that you act with confidence, knowing that the energy of the universe supports your intentions and amplifies your efforts. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with this universal energy, synchronicity begins to appear. People, resources, and circumstances show up in ways that seem miraculous, yet they are the natural consequence of living in harmony with the universal flow. Faith in the universe transforms fear into trust, doubt into certainty, and resistance into ease. It allows you to step forward courageously, even when the path is unclear, because you understand that you are co-creating your life with a force that is abundant, intelligent, and infinitely benevolent. The more you cultivate belief in this power, the more you notice guidance, insight, and opportunities that were previously invisible. You begin to understand that you are not struggling against life, but working with it, and that the universe always responds to those who act with integrity, purpose, and unwavering belief in their potential. In trusting the universe, you open yourself to a flow of creativity, abundance, and inspiration that magnifies your ability to achieve what once seemed impossible. Absolutely. Here's an expanded explanation of **point 9. Impossible is temporary, **, in approximately 450 words in a motivational style inspired by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most transformative truths you can embrace is that nothing in life is truly impossible. The word impossible exists only in the mind, and only as long as we allow limitations, doubts, or fear to dominate our thinking. Every great achievement in history, from inventions that changed the world to acts of courage that inspired nations, was once deemed impossible. Mountains were climbed, illnesses were cured, and dreams were realized because individuals refused to accept impossibility as an endpoint. When you face what appears to be an insurmountable challenge, it is easy to feel defeated, to surrender to doubt, or to convince yourself that you simply lack the ability or resources to succeed. But the truth is that impossible is never permanent. It is temporary, contingent on your mindset, determination, and willingness to persist. What seems unattainable today can become achievable tomorrow when you shift your perspective. Take deliberate action and refuse to be confined by limiting beliefs. Life often places obstacles before you not to block you, but to reveal your potential and to test the depth of your courage. The most remarkable breakthroughs occur when ordinary people make extraordinary decisions to persist, adapt, and innovate despite the odds. You see, impossible is not a wall. It is a challenge, an invitation to stretch beyond what you have known, and to discover reserves of strength, creativity, and resilience that you may not have realized you possess. Every step you take toward what seems impossible chips away at the illusion of limitation. With each action, each choice, and each moment of persistence, the impossible begins to shrink, revealing new possibilities that were always present, but unseen. It is in embracing this truth that you begin to live courageously without being paralyzed by fear or uncertainty. Your potential is vast, and the limitations you perceive are often self-imposed, created by past experiences, societal expectations, or negative self-talk. By recognizing that impossible is temporary, you reclaim the power to dream boldly, act decisively, and move forward with unwavering faith in your ability to create results. History and personal experience both prove that what seems unattainable at first can be achieved when approached with clarity, commitment, and relentless determination. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming become opportunities to transform your life, expand your perspective, and accomplish things that once existed only in your imagination. I can continue with point 10 in the same style completing the full against all odds sermon. Should I proceed? Absolutely. Here's an expanded explanation of point 10. Rise and embrace your extraordinary potential. In approximately 450 words, in a motivational style inspired by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Ladies and gentlemen, within each of us lies an extraordinary potential, a unique combination of gifts, talents, and capabilities that are waiting to be expressed in the world. Too often, we allow fear, self-doubt, or the expectations of others to keep that potential dormant, convincing ourselves that we are ordinary, average, or unworthy of greatness. But the truth is, you were not created to settle for mediocrity. You were designed to rise, to shine, and to contribute to life in a way that only you can. Embracing your extraordinary potential begins with a decision, a conscious choice to step out of limitation, to believe in your own value, and to act in alignment with your highest vision for yourself. Every day presents opportunities to exercise that potential, whether in the way you think, the choices you make, or the actions you take. The world responds to those who are willing to step forward with courage, clarity, and commitment, and who refuse to remain hidden behind fear or hesitation. Extraordinary potential is not about comparison to others. It is about becoming the fullest expression of who you are. It is about understanding that you have within you the capacity to create, inspire, heal, and lead in ways that ripple far beyond your immediate circumstances. Too often, people wait for permission, recognition, or ideal conditions before embracing their greatness, but true empowerment comes from within. When you recognize your inherent worth and take ownership of your life, you begin to operate from a place of confidence, authenticity, and intention. Rising to your potential requires courage, the courage to face your fears, to take responsibility for your choices, and to move forward even when the path is uncertain. It also requires trust, the trust that life supports you, that challenges are opportunities for growth, and that every step you take in alignment with your purpose brings you closer to fulfillment. When you embrace your extraordinary potential, you stop living in the shadows of limitation and start creating a life that reflects your deepest desires, values, and dreams. You begin to see obstacles as invitations, failures as lessons, and every experience as a stepping stone toward greatness. The energy, passion, and creativity you release when you commit to rising fully into your potential not only transforms your life, but also inspires and uplifts those around you. Your extraordinary potential is not a distant dream. It is a living reality waiting for your recognition, your courage, and your action. If you want, I can compile all 10 points into a full, polished sermon script titled Against All Odds ready for speaking, recording, or video narration in a seamless, flowing style with motivational emphasis.